Hello everyone. It's 2025 October 7th, the Tuesday. Today, I'm digging into the archives to introduce a really cool training paper. This one has a title that just grabs you, you know? It's like a detective novel for AI. The title is Reward Models and Metrics in a Trench Coat. The corolla is that's side corner of it. It's long. Alright, let's break this down. This paper is basically pointing out a huge, kind of awkward situation in the AI world. It's that two people showing up to a party wearing the exact same outfit, but they pretend not to know each other all night. So on one side with reward models. These are super important for training large language models, like the ones that power all the apps we use. Think of a reward model as a personal coach for an AI. It watches what the AI generates and gives it a score, a little pat on the back, saying yes, this answer is helpful and good, or no, but when it's not. This process is part of what's called reinforcement learning for human feedback, or ROF, and it's how we align AI to be more useful for us humans. On the other side, we have evaluation metrics. These are the scorecards that researchers use to measure how well an AI is performing on a specific task. For example, if you're testing an automatic translation system, you might do some metric called BLUE to see how close its translation is to a professional human one. So, they also judge the quality of the AI output. You see where this is going, right? Both reward models and evaluation metrics are basically doing the same job. They're both judging the quality of text generated by an AI. They're both assigning a goodness score. The paper's big argument is that these two fields are almost completely separate. We're developing knowledge terminology, running into the same problems, and not learning from each other's mistakes or successes. The author proves this by looking at academic papers. They did a citation analysis and found that papers on reward models mostly cite other reward model papers, and papers on metrics mostly cite other metrics papers. There's less than 10% crossover. It's like two parallel universes working on the exact same thing. The paper even shows a chart where research on reward models is exploding, while mentions of evaluation metrics are actually going down. That's not that metrics are irrelevant. It's just that the new field isn't building on the old one's foundation. And this isn't just a theoretical problem. And what? They took a free-old evaluation metric from machine translation, a relatively small model with only 550 million parameters. They tested it on a benchmark designed for huge modern reward models. And guess what? This little old metric performed just as well, and in some cases, even better than massive models like that for non-English translations. This suggests that the mechanisms the reward model folks are trying to build, they might already exist over in the metrics world. One of the coolest and most important concepts they discuss is reward hacking. This is a huge problem in AI. Reward hacking is when an AI figures out a loophole to get a high reward score, without actually learning the intended behavior. It's like a kid who figures out they get praise for a clean room, so they just shove everything under the bed. The room looks clean, but it's not really. For an outcomes could mean it lands that longer answers get higher scores from a reward model. So it starts generating super long voice and repetitive text. Because it's hacking the reward system. This is a problem both fields are trying to solve, and they could probably solve it faster if they work together. Why this reminds me why did the AI metric break up with the reward model? Because it felt like the reward model was always trying to change its core values. Yeah, okay, moving on. So how does this all apply to our daily lives? Well, solving this disconnect could make the AI we use way better. Let's look at 3 specific examples. First, machine translation. Imagine you using a tool like Google Translate. Right now, it's pretty good, but it can still be awkward. If we train the next generation of translation models using insights from advanced metrics, a reward model could learn to appreciate more than just word-forward accuracy. It could learn about style, tone, and cultural nuance. This would lead to translations that feel like they were written by a native speaker, not a machine. Second, let's talk about chatbots and dialogue systems like Siri or Alexa. One big problem with them is vision, where they just make stuff up. By integrating specialized evaluation metrics, If I go into the reward model, we can train matbots to be more truthful. The reward model wouldn't just give a single red score. It could accept its scores for helpfulness, politeness, and most importantly, factual accuracy. This would mean you could trust your AI assistant answers a lot more. Third, information extraction and text summarization. Let's say you need a summary of a long business report. A summarizer that's been trained with a war hacking problem might give you a really long summary, because it thinks longer is better. The use techniques in the evaluation metrics field. We can build a reward model that also checks for unbiasedness and factual consistency. This means the AI would be trained to create summaries that are short and to the point, and don't add any information that wasn't in the original document. That's a tool I think we could all use. Now, the paper makes a really smart final point. It says that while these two fields should collaborate, they shouldn't completely merge into one. This is because of something called Goddard's law, which basically states that when a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. If we use the exact same model to both train the AI or to evaluate it on a chord, AI developers would just start optimizing your models to score high on that one specific benchmark. This creates a momentum. Our progress seems to be happening because scores are going up, but the AI isn't actually getting better in a general, meaningful way. So the recommendation is for the fields to share methods and learn from each other, but to keep some separation. The reward model is the coach in the gym, and the evaluation metric is the judge of the competition. They have similar jobs, but you don't want them to be the same person. So in the end, this paper is a call for a conversation. It's saying, hey, you two identical trash codes. Maybe you should talk to each other. You might find you have a lot in common if you can help each other out. And for us, that means better, smarter, and more reliable AI in the future.